hope you're having a great day. So, I had a whole bunch of people ask me, well, not a whole bunch, but like a handful of people were like, why did you quit doing your videos? I didn't quit doing my videos. I mean, I did, but I still am going to do the whole update on the flower farm. But things got crazy in April and May. One, I read a book called Cool Flowers, and it is all about how you can plant some varieties even before your last frost date, which I was thinking I was going to be planting everything like around May 10th. Nope, I was going to be planting a lot of it before May 10th. So, here's the farm. Doesn't it look different? I cleaned up this ditch line. I just have a couple holes to remove, but I ripped out that old fence. I ripped out the old fence that came along here, cut out the dead trees. I still have like 2 dead trees to cut out. And yeah, so that I could put up a little yeah, that was not in the plans. So as I got all my fabric laid, as you can see, I got all my fabric laid. And then there's so many things. I should have been videoing the whole time, but honestly, something had to go. Like, something had to go. I was way too busy. Like, I was getting up at 5 a.m. and I was, like, falling back into bed at, like, 11 at night. And I was like, yeah, the videos are just, I can update everybody later. I can just tell them what I did. They don't need to watch me do it all. So, anyway, let's think about that. Okay, so I was like, I gotta get some of these flowers in the ground. It's way too late. And I will go through and give you an update on which flowers are where in a minute. But first, the fence. So I was out here. Well, no, wait. I kind of did a video where I showed you the drip line and said I was going to make a video on how to do that. And I can do that later if you're interested in a video on how to set up drip. I actually put it all around my house too because it just makes it easier. You can get automatic timers, which I don't have yet. I am still going out and turning on the water and then turning it off until I trust it. And then it would be nice though to like turn it on from my phone so that I can come out here and do all of my chores for the day. But yeah, so I got all of the black stuff laid, and the drip line is underneath of it in most places. There's one place where it's on top, and I don't recommend it. I definitely don't recommend it. It blows everywhere. Even if you staple it down, it goes all over. So now I know why people put it underneath. It's definitely the way to go. And there were some windy days in April. There was one day I came out here and I had like all of this, like not all of it, the whole entire row of it though was like just blown over, stuck to the fence. And I was out here. I mean, this is 150 feet long by 6 feet long. So it is not like a light piece of plastic by any means. And I was trying to like carry it back to its row that it goes to. And the wind picked up and I thought I was going to go parasailing. I was sitting there like, no. And yeah, it was picking me up off the ground. I actually was sitting on the ground, like holding it, like, don't ruin all of my plants. And finally, like the wind died down enough, and I like crawled and like put a whole bunch of bricks on it because I was like, this one is not going to stay. And then my dad was nice enough. He went and got a bunch of patio pavers, and he brought them out in his truck, and we put them on. And ever since we did that. Well, he also cut an oak tree, and we put some oak logs on like the worst problem areas, and so far it's staying. I don't know. Iowa is pretty windy like in April and May, so, but it is staying. It hasn't ripped up any more of my plants. As long as we don't get a tornado or something, I think I'll be okay. And then as I'm planting all of these plants, you know, I'm out here every day and people drive by, people see what's going on, and they would like roll up and they're like, you need a deer fence. And I was like, yeah. And then I was just kind of like not really, you know, I was like, like I did get plants that the deer are supposed to not like, but like herds of deer run through here. So I did do some research. I didn't know how to put in an electric fence at all. And around the entire farm used to be cattle, so there is like the wire for an electric fence. But when I looked it up, they said that this poly wire is easier to like take down and put back up. And I thought, well, if I need to take it down, or if anything happens to me and somebody else has to take it down, I'm just gonna get the easy stuff that is like easy to handle. You just roll it all back up and just test it. And there was actually the University of Iowa did an entire study on how to like keep deer out of an area. And what they did, I'll just kind of, maybe from this angle, I can show you here. So what they did is they put, it's actually on right now. It's actually hitting metal. I can hear it zipping. So you put a wire out like 3 to 4 feet. It didn't seem to really matter. So you make one fence with 3 lines, and then you do 18, 36, 54. And then you come out and you make another little fence just at 3 feet. And I guess what happens is that the deer don't, like, they can't process 3D like we can. So they think this wire is part of that fence, and when they run up and touch it, it makes them like, wait, what's going on? And they don't know, like, supposedly they can't process to be able to jump over that. And that's why it doesn't have to be as tall, because it's actually in, like, this front wire actually throws them all off of being able to jump. That's what the University of Iowa did as a study. And I didn't really want to do it because I don't want to shock the deer. But I did. I shocked myself. So, like, and it did. It gave me a jolt, but I was fine. Like when we were in 7th grade, 8th grade, and you do your whole science experiment with shocking, and you hold everybody's hands, and then, like, the first person gets shocked the worst, and then, the last person doesn't get shocked as bad. I kind of feel like that's what it is. Like, if they're running up to it because they're being nosy and want to see what's in there, they're going to get shocked, they're going to, like, back up, and they're not going to want anything to do with it. Now, I think if it's, a buck and he's after a female, I think he's going to run through it no matter what. And that, like, they're going to run through a fence no matter what and tear it down. So there's instances where it's probably not going to help, but hopefully it does keep the majority of them. Like, I have mowed paths, and I did take out this fence. So there's plenty of places for the deer to run on mowed grass. I don't even think they would like that black stuff. There's holes all over it. I think their little feet would get, like, stuck in it. I don't know. But anyway, so yes, got that up. Thank you to Nate. Nate came out one day. I was so excited because normally I, like, fly pretty solo. Like, I do most of this stuff on my own. My dad did help me with the blocks, and he also helped me figure out some parts of the fence that were not working. I had grounded it twice. I didn't know it. I think I'm grounding it twice right now. I hear it zipping on this pole. And we have a grounding rod up there, and if you ground it and it's touching a pole somewhere else, I don't think it works. Like, something weird happens. But anyway, Nate came out, and we did the post hole digger, and he did it for 36 of my poles out here. So, props to him. He wasn't even tired. I was like, "Are you sure you don't want me to do it?" And he was like, "No, I'm fine." And, like, I did like 4, and I was like, this thing, like, wobbles your brain. Like, it does not, like, it's a lot to, like, pound over it. So anyway, yes. So, like, I know, like, when you're, like, just, like, recapping what you did, it seems like, oh, that shouldn't have taken very long. But yeah, I mean, laying all the drip line, laying all the plastic, putting an entire fence, and then, like, I had to, like, go around 3 times to go around this 1/4 acre and put all 3 clips on each little thing. And then I turned on my drip, and my drip didn't get everything. And I was like, no. And so the drip is hooked up to the well, and the well is hooked up to this and the house. And I went in the house, and there were some things leaking in the house. So one night at dark, like, I became a plumber, and I fixed all of the leaky parts in the house because, you know, we don't want them leaking, and I don't feel like that's anybody else's responsibility because I'm the one that needs the water. Nobody else is needing the water. So I did that. I have a running bathroom in here now. Yay! So exciting. Yes, I am from Iowa. Yes, I can go out and like squat and pee in like behind a building or something, but like honestly, I'm 40-some years old. I don't want to. I want a working bathroom, and I have one now. So I was a plumber one night. I did all of that. I think that was a night that I got home around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got up at 5, and Nate was like, "You are crazy," and I was like, "It all needs to be done," and that's why the videos kind of stopped. But I do feel like I'm catching up. Yay! And I have flowers in the ground. So I need to turn off my electric fence, and then I will take you around and give you a little update on the flowers that I have. So just to give you kind of a quick overview of what this drip looks like, what I do is I have this tubing right here. I think, what is this? This is 3/8 poly tubing, and then you poke a hole in it. I put off shutoff valves, and then I connected it to the drip tape. So these have emitters every 6 to 9 inches that just drip out water. What I did learn is that I can't do all of it at once, which is fine. I mean, that's not a big deal. So I have all of these stoppers where I can turn them on and off. And so what I do is I come out and I do about 3 rows at a time for 30 minutes. And that's like the other day it rained. It rained. It hadn't rained here forever. It was insane. I was like, what's the first year that I become a flower farmer and it doesn't rain in April in Iowa? Like, what is going on? Like, to the death of me. But it ended up raining a whole inch, like 1.5 inches in town, but only 1 inch on my farm. But that is quite a bit of rain. So that was very good because I was coming out here every day and having to water, and I would just, I would turn on rows and turn off rows, and that's just pretty much how I did it, and it worked great. At first I was like, oh my God, it's not getting enough water at all the rows. I don't know what to do. And my dad's like, well, why don't you just shut off some rows and then see how far your water takes you and then do that. And I was like, oh, yeah. Sometimes you don't think of everything. And sometimes you just need your dad to tell you what to do. So that also happened with the electric fence. I didn't know anything about it, but he helped me figure out the grounding. So thanks, Dad. Anyway, okay. So here I am. So I've been out here, and it makes me laugh because I just don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe people get it, maybe people don't. But like, I was planting. My mom, I get her I get her flowers for Mother's Day and like put them in some pots in front of her house, which then she's forced to water like all summer. So I don't really know if it's a good gift or not. I'm like, am I just giving her more work or? But they're pretty and they're nice. I'm sure they make her smile sometimes. But she's like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, it's a lot of work. And then I was just like it threw me because I don't know. Like, maybe it is a lot of work to some people. But so like, that's what I was thinking about, because people do pot up plants and they put plants at their house and they put plants in their landscape. But like, I'm putting a plant in every single one of these holes. And I guess like after you've done that, maybe it just doesn't seem like as much to do the pots at home. I don't know. Welcome to my life. Okay, anyway, so let's do a rundown of what I have in these rows. Okay, so starting in this very first row, the closest, I'm now at the very bottom of the hill looking up towards the house and the road. So down at the very bottom down here, I have planted all of my purple coneflower seeds, and so I'm hoping they germinate. And then at the top I have the daisies. I have painted daisies, English daisies, and Shasta daisies. And then at the very last, I have a few black-eyed Susans. That entire first row is seeds. And the seeds make me nervous because you put them in the holes and you hope they grow. There's like a lot of grass, and I try to like keep it mowed and keep it weed eated, but the seeds, like as you can see when I weed eat and mow, it still like comes and flies over and the tarp gets seeds on it. I should probably like blow it off or something. But anyway, they do get like, you know, grass does start growing and things like that in the holes. Yesterday, I decided, okay, it's probably that time of year. I need to start, you know, just weeding it. And I looked out across and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. Because it's, you know, I was thinking like when I weed my house, like how long it takes. But it actually doesn't take that long. Like this entire first row had a lot of grass growing up. And I was like, those seeds are never going to germinate. So I just went down the row and like plucked all the grass or plucked the weeds I could find out of it. And I ended up doing 4 rows in an hour and a half. And I got all the weeds out of the holes. So it's not as big. It looks big, but since you just have like so many holes and you're just looking at each hole and not every hole has, you know, weeds in it, it actually goes a lot quicker than you would think. So that's what I did yesterday. I decided I'm going to do 2 rows a day of weeding. I think if I stay on top of it, that should be maybe 30 minutes to an hour every day of just weeding. And if I can get a hole like ahead of it in the spring, I know it won't be as bad through the summer. That's just how it, like if you get ahead of the weeds, sometimes they're just not as bad. Moving on to row 2. In this row, I have some delphinium. And I do need to get the fabric to stake up the delphinium because obviously it needs some kind of support. This is still empty, so I might have to put some seeds in it. And then up here, these are some of the Cheyenne Spirit echinacea and the purple coneflowers. So right here is Cheyenne Spirit. It's looking very green and lovely. I hope it grows. And then I have a few purple coneflowers. And then there you can see like there's a little bit of grass sticking out. Because I haven't done anything here, I'll probably weed it whenever I get ready to put some seed in. And then in the rest of this row, I put a bunch of little canterbury bells. And I hope that they turn out. So that's one thing that the seeds make me nervous. The plants I obviously can see. So now we're coming over to my Yarrow Row, and this entire row is Yarrow. It is a perennial that is supposed to come back every year. I think it would make a really pretty filler. But it is actually looking quite lovely and getting quite large. So that's exciting, and there are different kinds of yarrow. I don't know, the seeds all said yarrow, but look at the difference in these 2 plants. Yet they're both supposedly yarrow. So I'll see when it comes up what it's made of. And then after my yarrow, I have a row of Perennial Salvia. And then the rest of the row, I'm planning to do a butterfly and hummingbird mix variety. Just to see what comes out of it. So here's some of my salvia. I did, when I was hardening it off, some of the leaves got a little burnt, I think. I thought that I did a good job. I took 7 days to harden it off, but after it had been outside in like the sun and the shade for a couple of days, it was a really hot day, and I think it just kind of burnt the leaves, but I think it will be good. And check it out! It's my first flower. Although it's not really, I mean, these are perennials, and I don't even think I'm supposed to be able to cut on them for 2 or 3 years. But I was laughing because like they are flowering, and I actually need to just cut these off to let the plant get a better root system and grow. But I just don't want to do it. I mean, so I have a few little weaklings because I left their little flowers on it. They were the first flowers in the flower field. Salvia. So yeah. So yeah, I have a few different varieties of salvia here. And again, with the salvia, some of it just looks a lot different than other. And maybe it's just the stage that it's growing at. And then up down this row, I have some Russian sage. And then some scabosia. And this entire row, I mean, there are walkways like through at the bottom, and some of them are just teeny tiny, but this is an entire row of snapdragons. So I'm gonna have more snapdragons, I think, than anything, because most of the other flowers are perennials, and so I'm waiting, you know, year 2 and 3 are probably gonna be when they start producing the best. And then the snapdragons are an annual, so this is a row that I'll lift up the fabric and retill and put another plant in. And another thing with snapdragons is that they're a cool weather plant. So once it starts to get really, really hot in the middle of the summer, they are going to kind of die back and not be as good. I think you may have a short window you can plant them in the fall. But for the most part, they are just a cool weather plant. And I have so many of them. So maybe this year at the farmer's market, I will be handing out snapdragons. I'm hoping some of my other plants do well because snapdragons kind of have a spike to them. This row, I put a bunch of lavender seed, and so far I don't really see any lavender germinating. At the very end down there, I did put some lavender starts that I have. But there is a lot of lavender seed in this row, and if it doesn't germinate, I'll be able to take cuttings off my lavender in this row and move over to that row. Lavender is going to take at least 2 years to get fully established, and you can like snip it and take cuttings off of it. So I should be able to just keep making more rows of lavender as I go off of the lavender that is coming up. And it does look like I have like quite a bit of lavender turning green and coming up and starting to sprout. So that's pretty exciting. And then the next row, so I guess I didn't say, at the end of that snapdragon row, like the last probably 15 feet, I don't have anything. And then in both of these lavender rows, probably the last 15 feet, I don't have anything, but I hope to fill it with more lavender. And this row, I kind of messed up. These are snapdragons, and they are supposed to be 9 inches apart, or to a foot apart, which is why over there they have a foot apart, and these are 6 inches apart. But I only did a partial row because I realized the flaw. And now we're getting to some of the areas where I haven't really weeded, so there is also some grass growing. The next row, I have some lisianthus. And I don't have a lot because if you remember in my basement, the germination, this is one of the rows, look at that. This is one of the rows where I put this tubing on top to do my test to see if it would be easier. So yeah, so I wanted to do a test because the thing about laying all this drip and then putting the black over it is that if you spring a leak or something happens to your drip, you're not going to know about it until you see your flowers start dying. Seems like a horrible idea to me. So I was like, well, I'm going to just see if I put it on top, I would be able to see if I sprung a leak. I'd see it right away, you know, when I turned on the water. And a lot of people do put it underneath, but I saw a lot of videos where people did it on top. But it is a mess. Like if you have any wind whatsoever, I mean, I have staked this stuff down. I have it in it doesn't matter. The wind like lifts it up and blows it all over the place. So my recommendation on if you're gonna do drip, definitely put it under your fabric. It seems to stay in place much better. So yeah, so I probably need to start like putting some stakes in the ground and putting netting up to hold all of these tall plants. See, like when I think I have a day where it's like, yay, I'm getting caught up. I almost have all of my trays in the ground, which is insane. Like, as you can see, all these plants. Yeah, I've put all of those in. So I think I have 8 trays in the basement, and then I have a few trays out here that they just hadn't germinated, and I'm waiting to see if some more germinate or not. We'll see. So pretty soon I will just be planting seeds. So I have thousands of seeds that I can put in that I haven't put in yet, which brings me to my next row. So this row was Rebecca, and I did actually, those are not seeds. And yeah, I'll just show you. They're teeny tiny. They're teeny. That might not be one. Here's one. That might have been a weed. So there's some Rebecca. So some Rebecca going on. Some grass. These are actually, like if you look here, this is like a row where I walk. So a lot of times if you see like grass and weeds, like out in the middle, that it's just because these are going to be walking paths. So until it's hard to walk through, I don't really care about it that much. I probably don't want it to go to seed, but. And then down here I have a few dahlias I started from seed. So not a whole lot of them, but I just wanted to try them. I probably should have done more. And then the end of this row is amaranth. And I think I have like 2 different types of amaranth. And celosia. And there's all of my celosia. They're just babies. And then, yeah, we'll see how they do. I hope they do okay. It's kind of been getting cold for celosia, so they might not do as good. Here's a mystery plant. I think it's verbena. I need to look it up. I'm not really sure what it is. And then I planted some grass. No, just kidding. That's the stuff that I pick out. There's a bunch of marigolds. So, like right here you can see, ooh, there's a spider. I don't like the spiders. These are giant yellow marigolds, and I have giant orange marigolds. And then I have also a bunch of marigold seeds. And then this is kind of like an extra hodgepodge row because it ended up being a little bigger than I had like planned, but I had some extra fabric and I had enough drip. And I may have gone a little crazy at home with the tomatoes and the peppers. I told myself last year, I was like, I am only planting like 4 tomato plants next year because there's way too many tomatoes. And then I had a lot of jalapenos. None of my green peppers did that great. So this year I was like, I'm going to see if I can like start them from seed and actually it'll be like my plant from the ground up or whatever. I mean, other than the fact that the seed does all the work. So I planted, I don't even know. I thought like, you know, I will get 3 or 4 tomato plants. Now I got a lot more. So I think I already planted, I think 10 tomato plants at my house and pepper plants. And these are all the extras. So I was like, well, I'll just throw them out there at the farm. So I've got a bunch of tomato plants going up this row. And then I have a bunch of pepper plants. And the crazy thing is like, they didn't do very good because of the cold, but they're starting to look better, and they're actually like some flowers on them already. So I'm probably going to end up with some peppers, but look at all these peppers. And there's just as many tomatoes. But some of them look pretty weak. Maybe they'll snap out of it. But yeah, I think I just didn't harden them off the right way. And these are all the trays that I'm hoping to have some germination. But Like, as you can tell, I planted some of the plants in there. But, oh, there's one that germinated. So I have a few that are still germinating, and then the rest of them are out there. Oh yeah, looks like I have some marigolds coming back up too. So I'm glad I didn't just throw all of my little trays away. So I'm gonna get a few more plants out of there. So I have most of my plants in the ground. So exciting. I mean, I might have 300 or more trays. I don't know, I'll look in the basement. So most of my days, like, you're probably like, well, I don't know why she's been so busy for like a whole month. Like, I don't even know. Maybe it's been the last 3 weeks. I think my last video was 3 weeks ago. Maybe 4. I don't know. So my daily tasks consist of, I have to get up, of course, and then I have to do my job that pays the bills. And I get that done, eat a little bit of breakfast, run downstairs, and I have to water all of my trays that are still growing in my grow room. And then I planted a garden at home. So I have got like radishes, spinach, green beans, peppers, onions, jalapenos. I have some different stuff growing at home. Then I have my potted plants at home. I did run drip at home. I ran drip all the way around the perimeter of my yard, so that this year I didn't have to actually do all of that again. You know what I mean? So I do have to plant, I have to go and water everything on my pergola that are in pots because I didn't run drip over to my pergola. So that takes a little bit, but not a big deal. At first though, like 3 weeks ago when I still had like 30 plants in my basement that I had to go down and water and feed, you know, by hand or whatever. And then I had plants outside. I had to take plants. I had to walk plants upstairs, take them outside, put them in the sunlight for a couple hours, and then bring them back in. So I had to do that with all of the trays that were in my basement. So in the midst of like trying to plant some of these cool flowers, I was also taking out like 20 trays a day for a couple hours and then bringing them back outside, and then and finally I was like, oh my God, I'm taking those all out to the farm so that I can like plant and then like run things in and out of the house here. So I got that down, and I decided I want a greenhouse. I want a tractor and I want a greenhouse. 2 things I don't think I ever thought I would say in my entire life. Like, Janae, if there was one thing that you could have today, what is it that you would want? A tractor. And what would the second thing be? A greenhouse. It's true. That's what I want. Those are my only 2 desires in this life right now. I want a tractor and a greenhouse. So anyway, my plants are planted. I have thousands of seeds to plant. Although honestly, there are plants in over 2/3 of those holes. So the rest of the holes are going to be seeds. And then, I mean, obviously another task when you're on a farm, like, you have to mow. Like, you don't want like all these weeds and weed seeds and trees and like things just growing up in the middle of everywhere. So you mow. So as you can see, I do a perimeter and mow all around the flower field. My dad takes care of all of around the house, around the barns, and all of that. And then I slowly try to clean up areas as I can. So maybe I can do a hyperlapse. I tried to make a dog trail. Okay, so I think I did a video kind of where I was like, I went and weed eated this area one day for a workout. So after weed eating it, I went through and just like cut out like little like trees that the lawnmower couldn't handle down at like ground level. And now this can just be mowed. So it's a lot easier to keep up on something if you just mow it once a week. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to like cut out trees and weed eat everything. So I did a little perimeter around that old barn that's kind of falling down. And then this is our little dog park. I do a perimeter around this. My dad actually mows like a lot of this for me now. He has a lot nicer mower, and I just kind of asked him, hey, do you have a crappy mower that you don't care if anything bad happens to it? because I'm reckless. And I definitely didn't want to take like his nice mower and like have something bad happen to it because I'm reckless. So I got this little dinky snapper, and I think that it surprised him when I was going around the hayfield on a little snapper mower. It's a bumpy ride, but it works. So I do a couple circles just to kind of keep around that tree cleaned up, and then the dogs and I will walk that. And then I cleaned up around this barn a little bit. Now my dad actually has been mowing that. He zooms around it. It takes me a little bit longer. So that part is cleaned up, and then I'll just do a hyperlapse here and walk around really quick. So like in here, there's just like, if you see, there's like tree limbs down and stuff like that. What I've been doing though is I started where the guy didn't do the hay. So last year, like as you can tell, like this stuff is way longer than that out there. So I started with the outermost edge that he had done, and I've just been slowly, every week I just shave off like just a little bit more so that I don't kill my mower. So I'll like, I walk this every day with my dogs. So I'll walk along this and I'll like pick these sticks out and throw it. See, like that was hiding in there. So I just kind of walk the outer edge of it when I'm walking my dogs and throw out any brush, or I usually bring my clippers and I'll clip down like little trees like that. So like every day I walk my dog, so all week long, well, Nate walks him a couple of days of the week, so 5 days a week I go along this path and I just slowly pick out or like cut down or throw stuff off to the side as I'm walking them. It's not a big deal. They're usually sniffing and looking for like little things anyway. And so then the next week when I go to mow, I will just shave like a little bit off, like not a lot, because I don't want to like kill the mower, and it's obviously getting longer and longer. So the path is getting a little bit wider every week, but what I'd like to do is work my way up to this fence line, and then maybe I could like trim some of the limbs that are like coming over the fence line and be able to, you know, just walk along the fence line and have the fence line cleaned up at the same time. I know that they make huge machinery that does that, but you know, I have to walk my dogs every day anyway, and it doesn't take that much when I'm out here just mowing their little dog path to shave another little inch off. So I'm just gonna do as much as I can. This is one of my favorite places, even though the pond has like quite a bit of, it just turns green. But I can't do everything I want to do, but I will try. I'll do as much as I can. So I read that you can actually buy some plants that like algae. So the plant actually feeds off the same, I don't know, organisms, whatever. I don't know the scientific name. I could look it up and be specific, but honestly, that's not my thing. But the plants will feed off of the same thing that the algae feeds off of, and so as the plants suck all of that out, then the algae doesn't grow in the pond. Wouldn't that be amazing? I mean, it probably needs like dug out and stuff. It's kind of silted in and different things over the years. I mean, it's a very old pond. But oh my God. Wouldn't it be glorious to have just some like beautiful trees and some beautiful plants and like maybe like a little picnic table and a bench along the path? Maybe that someday could become like a little like road, like maybe not road, but like path to get to the pond. This is one of my absolute favorite spots on the entire farm. Like, I can come out here with the dogs and I can just sit here. Sometimes there's geese, sometimes there's ducks. Some long lost pets are buried out here. It's just like my spot. And that's pretty much our little dog walk. I have made like a couple little paths here to like cross this like little creek. It's kind of like a creek. I made another little path over here. The deer were going through here, so I just kind of made it easier. Well, I took away a little square that you might run through, so maybe if you run through these paths that I've mowed, you'll stay out of my car. We'll see. So, I do that. I try to keep this mowed, because then if I keep it mowed, it'll, it'll just be easier. It's just easier. It's easier to like ride around on a lawnmower than to like cut a bunch of stuff down. So, that is one of my farm tasks. And I wanted to stay up on it, because if I, now that I've done it like a few times, like as long as I do it once a week, and it only takes a few hours to ride around and do everything and weed, by the time I like weed eat and mow everything, it takes a little bit longer. But it keeps it nice. Here's this end. Wouldn't it be awesome if that whole path was like lined with flowers and it was like this beautiful like flower garden? Like, and you could go to all these magical spots like around the pond, and it was like beautiful, and you could have like a picnic lunch. And I mean, you can do that anyway. Like, I can do that, but it would be cool. I don't know if I have enough time or energy left in me. I don't know. We'll have to see. I feel like I've had some energy to do all of this. So let me think. The next things on the agenda are seed planting. So I could make a video, but honestly, you would be watching me just put a seed in a hole, put a seed in a hole, put a seed in a hole. It's the same thing with the flowers. It would have been like, put a flower in a hole, put a flower in a hole. I use a butter knife. You wouldn't think, like, I looked up all, like, because I wanted to be efficient, right? And I was like, oh my God, I started with like a trowel and it was like too much. I was like, this isn't butter knife, guys. Like, you seriously, if you have a 72 plug tray or just like little plugs, not like the big ones like tomatoes, obviously it's not going to work. I use my drill on those. But like all of these little plugs, you stick a butter knife in the ground, you kind of move it. I mean, you can just move it one way if it's a small enough one, and you stick it in. And that's it. Like, it's so fast. It's just like do 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 do. So I use a butter knife. That's my trick for that. And I mean, I crawl around on my knees all day. I don't know. Like that's what I've been doing. So that's my update. Sorry it took you so long to get you an update. It has just been crazy. I told Nate, I told my family, I was like, I think April and May are probably going to be crazy. I have no idea, like, what harvesting time will be like. And then I just hope we get enough water. And I still have to figure out the feeding situation. I think this soil is pretty fertile, but I don't really know. I have a backpack sprayer. Hook up 4 gallons of water to your back and walk around while like doing this pumping action and spraying. I was like, dang, I'm getting like a full body workout. The first time I did it, I was like, there is no way I can do this. Like, this is exhausting. But now that I've done it a few times, it's not as bad. It's just like anything, like your first walk after a long winter is like, ugh. And then you can like walk forever and it doesn't matter. But yeah, you just have to get started, I guess. Let me think. I think that's pretty much the update for the day. I can't wait to have beautiful flowers to show you. I don't know if I updated you guys. A local florist did buy some just greenery off of me. But that's, and I think the farmer's market's in 3 weeks. So I might have to be like, I don't have anything yet. But that's okay. I had already told her that I might not have anything. The red buds are turning green. They're not pink anymore. They're my favorite. I think that's my update, guys. I don't know. I mean, after like taking you around and showing you it all, like, I don't know why I had no time left in the day to video. It seems, but I mean, all of it just took time. It was just a lot of time. I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I think like this part wasn't my favorite part, but I didn't mind. Like I liked doing the seedlings in the winter time. Like it was like a nice winter project. Like I actually enjoyed that and watching how they went. That was really fun to me. The plumbing and the electric fence, not anything I really want to do every day of my life. The drip line and installing all of the drip tubes, not the best. Putting my plants in the ground, I like that a little bit better. It is kind of tiring because you're like bent over the whole time and doing all of that. But you know, maybe I'm crazy, but you can just be like, grow, little plant, grow. You can talk to God and you can just, I don't know, you can just sit out here and like really be at peace. So it's not that bad to like put the plants in and put the seeds in, because you get like this little, like, you have hope. You have hope. You have hope that they make it. And you know you'll be sad if they don't, but then again, it's like, it's a flower. I mean, if it doesn't grow, like, grow another one. Put another seed in. Like, start another plant. Buy a plant from somebody and put it in. It's not that big a deal. It's not going to be the end of the world, you know? So, it's not going to hurt anyone. So, those things are the nice things about it. Like, those are the nice things about it. I can't wait to have flowers though, and then I can pick the flowers and I can give the flowers to somebody. Like, that's what I really want to do. I'm so excited for that day. I do have some flowers though. I have my salvia. I should go pick it and just put it in a little vase for myself. There's just a lot of stuff that is growing wild, and I probably should have been picking it and selling it, because I'm supposed to be like making money, right? I need to start caring about that part of the job. I don't know. I'm happy with my plants. Oh, here's some peonies I'm going to show you. Here are the peonies. I hope I don't forget about these. You're supposed to like pick them when they're like marshmallow stage. They're not quite there yet. They're when they kind of squish like a marshmallow. There's some over here too. We've got quite a few peonies. Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't do a video on this. They came and cut down the huge oak tree. Look guys, doesn't it look different? The oak tree is gone. That huge dead oak tree that was so scary to walk under. They came and cut it down. And now we just need to clean it all up. There's a lot more to do. Look at all this. There's a ton of it. This would be, and it's so tall. I mean, this stuff is like look at this. Like it is tall. Like I'm guessing. Like it is long. Look at that. And oh my God, it smells so good. I didn't realize how good it smelled. This stuff smells lovely. I'm gonna pick it all right now. Look at it all. It's just like a field of it. It really does smell good. There's like light purple, pink. Like there's quite a few different colors. Oh my God, that smells good. I don't know how long the vase life is though, like I said. I'm gonna have to like do a test. And I probably should have picked it a little bit earlier if I was gonna try to sell it. Okay, so I decided just to go ahead and pick some of it. It's so pretty. And it smells so good. I think it's probably, I don't know, some of it has really opened up and some of it has some of the stuff left. I could take a picture and send it to our local florist and see if she wants any. It's really pretty and it smells really good. She might not though. Maybe I got it too late. I don't know. But oh my gosh, a harvested bucket. And look, I didn't even make a dent. But honestly, look at these thistles. Man, if I could clean like the thistles out of this area. And they actually have like really pretty flowers on them. Like they're really cool looking. They're just brutal. So yay! That stuff will smell really good in my house. I did send a picture to our local florist. That's another thing that can go in some of these natural arrangements from Iowa. Yay! I think that is about it. I think I've updated you on what I've been doing. Got my gardening gloves on. I'm gonna go get 2 rows of weeds picked and then we'll see. I can clean up more areas, or I think I'm gonna wait and plant my seeds on Thursday because it is supposed to be 37 degrees, I think, the next couple of days, and I don't know. Some of the seeds say that they should have a nighttime temperature of 45, so I think I'm just going to wait and plant them. Like, what's a couple days? I mean, I guess that's a couple days without flowers. Oh well, it's okay. All right, guys, that's what I've been up to. Sorry it took me so long to get an update video out. I guess I could set up my tripod and let you see me pick weeds, but that doesn't sound like a very fun and interesting day. So I think I'm just gonna call this good and say I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will try to make more videos and give you updates as I go. Have a great day. I just picked a whole bunch of my first flowers. Yay! This is what it's all about.